Is it shirk to prostrate to a man appointed by God? Let's take a closer look at what the Quran and authentic teachings say about this important question. First, let's start with the concept of a caliph. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah declares, "Indeed, I will make upon the earth a caliph." The term caliph means successor or steward and refers to someone chosen by Allah to represent His authority on earth. This shows that divine leadership is ordained by Allah and cannot be claimed by anyone else. Now, let's talk about prostration. In the Quran, the word used for prostration is sujud, which means lowering oneself in humility and submission. Allah commands the angels to prostrate to Adam after creating him and breathing His spirit into him. And we said to the angels, "Prostrate to Adam," so they prostrated, except for Iblis. He refused and was arrogant and became of the disbelievers. This prostration wasn't worship of Adam, but an act of obedience to Allah's command and recognition of Adam's status as Allah's appointed caliph. Iblis refused to prostrate, arguing, "I am better than him. You created me from fire, and you created him from clay." This wasn't just arrogance, it was rejection of Allah's authority and His chosen leader. There is a narration that states, Iblis offered to prostrate to anything else but Adam. He sought to substitute Allah's specific command with his own preferences. However, Allah rejected his offer, making it clear that worship and obedience must be according to His will and not based on personal desires. In the same narration, it is reported that Allah said, "I do not need your worship. I want to be worshipped the way I want to be worshipped." This refusal to obey Allah's specific command caused Iblis's downfall. But this isn't just Iblis's story. The Quran reminds us that many nations fell into the same sin. The people of Ad, Thamud, and others were destroyed because they rejected the messengers Allah sent to guide them, just as Iblis rejected Adam. Surah Hud recounts how these nations ignored Allah's appointed leaders, leading to their ruin. Shirk in Islamic teachings means associating partners with Allah. But shirk isn't only about idol worship. It also includes rejecting Allah's chosen leaders and taking guidance from sources other than Him. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, explained that when people follow their own desires or other leaders instead of Allah's appointed representatives, they fall into shirk. The essence of shirk is to place one's own ego, desires, or others above Allah's command. The Quran makes it clear that prostration to Allah's chosen representatives is not shirk. Instead, it is obedience to Allah. The true shirk lies in rejecting the divine order, as Iblis did, and as the nations who rejected their messengers did. We must not follow in the footsteps of Iblis or those past nations. They were punished for their arrogance and disobedience to Allah's commandments. Instead, we must learn from their mistakes and submit fully to Allah by accepting His chosen leaders. The story of Adam and Iblis teaches us that obedience to Allah includes acknowledging His chosen representatives. Prostration to a man appointed by God is not shirk. It is submission to Allah's will. The real shirk lies in rejecting His commandments and following others in place of His chosen leaders. We are now in the seventh covenant with Allah, and just as with Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, and the messengers that came after them, our faith today is tested by our obedience to the Caliph appointed by Allah. Prostrating to and obeying this divinely appointed leader is what stands between faith and disbelief in this era. Thank you for joining us today on A Closer Look.